Hey, it's Sasha Evdokov, and welcome to BackstageIncome.com, where I share with you how money is made behind the scenes in your business and also your life. Now, in this week's episode, what I'd like to discuss is how to balance out your passion with your income and profits. Now, I know that there are a lot of blogs, videos, and articles that pertain to finding your passion and going for your passion. Now, unfortunately, you need to balance your passion with also your income stream or your finances, because having a lot of passion but no revenue in the end is really detrimental to a business. So you have to find a happy medium or a balance between the two, between your passion and also your revenue. So how do we really do this? How do we position ourselves to balance out our passion with our revenue and the profits that we want to make? How do we really go about positioning ourselves properly so that way we're getting a little bit of passion into our online business or getting some passion into our day-to-day work, so that way we continue to sustain and do the things that we actually enjoy, but then also that we get some revenue or some financial compensation out of it as well, because in the modern world, you need some finances or money in order to survive. So to illustrate this example, what I'm going to do is draw you a quadrant, and you can see this quadrant right now. Now, looking at this quadrant, what we have is different spectrums. So the first spectrum here, going left to right, we have no revenue all the way to big revenue, or no profits all the way to big profits. So all along this horizontal spectrum, we have the revenue part that we are looking at. So on one side, we have no revenue or no profits, and on the other side, we have really exuberant or high profits, high revenue. And you're going to fall into this region on that spectrum in terms of the business you desire or the business that you're looking to enter. So you'll fall into somewhere along this line. Now, if we look at the next spectrum, the vertical axis, here we have a spectrum that goes from passion all the way to dullness or boredom. So the passion will be at the very top, and then the dullness and the boredom will be at the very bottom. So again, you'll be able to place yourself somewhere along this axis based on your online business, what you hope to do, or what you're currently doing. Now, if we combine these and overlay these two axes together, now you start getting into these different quadrants, and that's really how it's created. Now, what you want to do is really start looking at these quadrants individually and how and where you rank within these quadrants. So to better reference our quadrants, the top left quadrant will be quadrant 1, then top right will be quadrant 2, quadrant 3 will be on the lower left, and quadrant 4 will be on the lower right. Now, in order to better categorize and explain this concept, I'm going to place some people into these different quadrants. However, keep in mind that things can shift depending on you, which we'll talk about in a minute. So basically, if we look at the top left quadrant, you'll see that the top left quadrant is all about passion and no profits. Now, if I was to categorize people in here, this is typically the artists who are willing to do a lot of creative work, that have a high passion for their work. They're either drawing people that are photographers, sketch artists. All these different people have high passion for what they do. Unfortunately, the revenue that's generated from those arts is limited. So those people typically will have a high degree of passion, but no profits. Now, if we move into quadrant 2, which has high passion and also big profits, you could categorize this in terms of Google's or the Amazons, but it doesn't have to be the big companies. It could be smaller companies that just have a high degree of passion and also great profits coming into their company. If we continue moving clockwise, right under that we have big profits, but very dullness or boredom within the passion that you're doing. So companies like this that have high profits but are very dull, this could be the bankers, it could be the lawyers. So these are the people that are usually generating a lot of revenue, but typically those workplaces, environments could be a little bit dull and not as exciting for many other people. So as we continue to move clockwise, we get to our final quadrant, which are the people that have no profits and also no passion. They're dull and they have boredom. And these are typically, you would think of the people that are just sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing. They don't have a passion to go out and do something, nor do they make any money or profit. So you definitely probably don't want to be in that quadrant. So as you start looking into all these different quadrants a little bit differently, you can slowly start getting an idea of where you might position yourself or your idea in business. So typically the bankers, the lawyers, or the insurance companies have high profits or high degree of profits. Think of the biggest buildings in a big city. It's typically those types of buildings. However, they may not have that passion. Now, there are certain exceptions, and this is what I wanted to get to. Some people who are bankers or lawyers or even investors who may not seem like they might be exciting fields to go into, they actually have a high degree of passion for their field or industry. So if you're the type of person that's willing to deal with a little bit more dullness and boredom, comparing it to your passion, comparing it to other people's excitement, then you're ahead because you'll be able to take on an area or industry that maybe lacks some passion, but for you it's actually extremely exciting and it's really rewarding. So think about it this way. If we took this vertical spectrum and had the passion at the top and the dullness at the bottom, and we said the word lawyer, for some people they would say that's extremely boring and they would be completely at the bottom. Other people might be extremely at the top and say, hey, I'm really passionate about the law, or I'm passionate about helping other people out who are wrongfully convicted and so forth. So some people are really passionate. And for you, you might be somewhere in the middle. So if you can find a field or area that you're actually more passionate about than other people, then it allows you to shift in this quadrant a lot better, because it allows you to take something that most other people find maybe a little bit dull, maybe a little bit boring, but for you it's actually really exciting, and for that reason this gives you an edge. This gives you an edge in terms of making additional profits or profitability. So your ideal goal, what is your ideal goal? Your ideal goal is to find a balance. Find a balance for something that you can stick with. Because if you get something that you're completely bored with on the extreme axis of one or the other, or something that is not generating revenue or profits, you're going to struggle in one area or another. For example, if you do something that's really boring, you probably won't be able to stick with it for a couple of years. Some people have that stick-to-itiveness and they may stick it out 2, 3, 4 years, but eventually it catches up to you because you're not energized enough to continue doing it day in and day out. For other people, maybe they love that they do something such as drawing, painting, whatever it is, a sketch artist, a dancer. If you're really, really passionate, but you're just not generating the revenue or the profits, that also only can sustain for so long. You need to generate some revenue to sustain your lifestyle or living. Now, it may not be a large living, but you need to generate something to kind of keep up and maintain a general or livable lifestyle in the modern world. So play around with this quadrant, play around with different ideas, concepts, different careers, different things to do in different online businesses, and where would you fall into place on this type of quadrant. And if you go ahead and do that, you'll start to see where's your sweet spot of choosing a specific niche or choosing a specific type of business or online business, what category you want to get into and which category you can handle. So you're looking for that sweet spot of what is it that is going to be a good balance for you, because if you remember that scale or the calibration scale of passionate and dullness, your level of passionate and dullness is not going to be the same like somebody else's. Thanks for joining me in this video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see other great videos like this one, you can click this link, and when you get there, enter your name and email address, and I'll send you my courses as they are released. But if you just want to browse around on the website, there's already plenty of other little course series that you can take a look at absolutely free. Now, if you want to continue hanging out on YouTube and see some of the videos that we have on our channel, click one of the thumbnails right below this video and we'll continue learning together. Thanks again, and remember to do what you love, contribute to others, but most importantly, live life abundantly. I'll see you next time.